Welcome to Basic Guitar 101. Here's a way to get started on your new guitar. Hopefully it'll be simple enough to understand and you'll be off and running. So let's talk about the guitar. Guitar has some basic parts you should probably know the names of. This is a bridge, this is a sound hole, this is a nut. These are strings. These are tuners or keys. This is called the head. So you can think of it this way. Here's the head, here's the body. Pretty simple. So the guitar that you have is a nylon string guitar. There's a couple of reasons that I got you a nylon string guitar. One, they're softer on the fingers, so it'll be a little easier to play. Two, it gives you a wider variety of music to work from. So let's start off with the tuner. This is your tuner. So it should have a little clasp on it like that. It's going to clip right here on the headstock. This is called a capo. This is a valuable tool that hopefully you'll learn to use as you go along. We're actually going to include this in our lesson today. So we're going to hook that right here. There we go. So set the guitar on your lap. Now, a lot of people will tell you that there's a lot of different ways to hold guitars. This is what I'm going to tell you. Hold it however it's comfortable. You see what I've done is I put this right here on my leg and I've moved it across my body. So that's what's most comfortable for me. Professional classical guitarists, the ones that play classical music, they hold it with this in between their legs and they rest their leg up on something. They play like this. That's not a comfortable position for me. You'll see rock stars play them differently. So the idea in the beginning is hold the guitar how it's comfortable. Because you're going to be looking where your fingers go on the fretboard, you're actually going to want to probably tilt the guitar back a little bit. Now in the beginning, this is okay. But what we want to do is not do that later on. So hopefully, real soon, you won't have to look. But for right now, it's okay to lean the guitar back a little bit so you can see where your fingers are going. Now, the strings. Each string has a name. As you can see here, the top string and the bottom string. We count the strings from the bottom up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 strings. Each string has a name, and here they are. E, A, D, G, B, E. Now you can remember all these, which seems confusing now, by remembering that Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. So that's your mnemonic. These are your strings. So count them with me. What's this one? And what's this one? And what's this one? And what's this one? And what's this one? Now, hopefully you did the numbers. Now we're going to do the letters. This one is E, Eddie. This one is A, 8. This one is D, dynamite. This one is G, good. This one is B, bye. And this one is E, Eddie. 88 dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. Okay, so now we're going to tune it. Turning inward loosens them, and turning outward tightens them. So, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our tuner. Now, you may need some help with this. There should be a button on it somewhere. Your tuner is going to be a little bit different than mine. On the tuner, there's probably a little letter that indicates a G or maybe a C. There might be other letters in there, a V, a B. We're not going to worry about those right now. You either want it on the C or on the G. So, once you've got it set, and you're going to hit the 6th string, and what you want is that to get as close to the letter E as you can. So, if the little indicator is forward, then you're probably going to have to loosen the string a little bit. And if it's back, you're going to have to tighten the string a little bit. You're probably going to want a little bit of help with this. Hopefully your mom will be able to help you with it. So, we want to get E as close to E as we can. Then we want to go to the next string, which is what? A, right. We want to hit A, and we want to get A as close as we can. And then we want to go to the next one, which is D, dynamite, correct. Okay, and now we're going to do the bottom ones. Now the bottom ones turn the same way. Out, in, right? So, eventually you will learn this and you won't even have to think about it. But right now there might be a little thought process. One thing, don't turn them too sharply. Don't turn them too quickly. Turn them slowly. Right? Okay, so as close as we can get to what letter? Which one is this? This is the third string, or right above my head. Good. Then go to the next one. And finally, the first string, which again is an E. Okay, so once you have that done, if you're behind, then go ahead, hit pause now, get that done, and then come back. I'll wait. Okay, hopefully we're back and we're all tuned up. Now, turn your guitar tuner off. You should be able to push and hold the button, and that should turn it off. You don't want to leave it on because the little batteries in there will wear out pretty fast. If you use it only when you need to tune, the battery will last a fairly long time. So, now, that's what we should have. So listen to my strings and listen to yours. So we should be in about the same neighborhood. They should sound about the same. If they sound way off, go ahead and hit pause. Try tuning it again or back up the video to that point. If you need any help, ask your mom. Okay, so now we're going to go over 4 basic chords. Here's the great thing about music. Most music only has 3 or 4 chords in it. So you only have to be able to remember 3 different chords, sometimes 4. That's great. And when it comes to playing music, the guitar is probably the easiest instrument to play as you go along. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to learn in the beginning. And that's just because your hand has to do some funny stuff. But once your hand learns how to do that funny stuff, it's the easiest instrument to play. So, this is a chart of the 4 chords that we're going to learn. Okay? So it's going to be G, C, and in this case, this is a special kind of C. It's a C add 9. But for the sake of the argument, I'm only going to call it a C. This one is an E minor, and this one is a D. As you can see here, suspended 4th, or sus4. But for the sake of the argument, I'm just going to call it a D. I'll probably refer to this one as just an E from time to time, but remember that it's an E minor. And you see the little tiny 7 up there? Technically, this is an E minor 7th, but we're not going to worry about that either. We're only going to worry that it's an E or an E minor in particular. Okay, so each one of these represents a string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my guitar up so you can see. So, here we've got string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these bars here are these bars here. Those are called frets. This is called the nut. This is the 1st fret, the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, right? Now we don't usually refer to the frets by numbers, but in this case I did. So, here is the nut. Here is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd frets. So each one of these dots is a place where you're going to put your fingers. So, what we're going to do is turn the guitar like this. We're going to look at our reference chart, and then we're going to do that. Now, this is where it becomes a little difficult. You got to get your hand on these little things. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky, and I'm going to put it on the 3rd fret and the 1st string. Right? So far, so good. Now I'm going to take my ring finger, and I'm going to place that on the 3rd fret, the 2nd string. So now I'm like that. And see right now what we're doing is we're holding down these 2 strings. Now you see that little circle up at the top and that little circle up at the top? We're going to leave those 2 strings open. That's called open strings. So we're going to skip the next 2 strings, and then we're going to take our pointer finger and we're going to place it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Right there, 2nd fret, 5th string. And then we're going to take our middle finger and we're going to place it on the top, right here, on the 6th string and the 3rd fret. Now, this is going to be an uncomfortable position for you. What may help is that if you take your thumb right here and you put it right in the back of the neck like that. Now, you're going to have this weird little shape, this weird little thing. Now, if you turn and you look, here's the thing. You see, there's space right here between my hand. Enough space for a small little tiny airplane to fly through. That is proper form. We want that as much as we can. Keep in mind that you're brand new, so it's going to be difficult. You might want to put your thumb up at top. Let's try as best we can to put it behind. But if it goes up on top, that's okay, because later on, that's going to become useful as well. So now that we've got this, I want you to strum all the fingers, all the strings down. You just take your thumb and run it down. Not too hard. Now you might get some muted strings, and you might get some buzz. If you have some buzz like this, then that means you need to slide your fingers closer to the fret. So that finger, this finger, wants to get as close to this fret right here as you can possibly get without actually touching it. And you want to do that on all of those, as close as you can get without actually touching it. And you can see right here, it's a weird shape. So once you've got that, strum it a couple of times. Now, if you're having problems with this, hit pause or go back to the beginning of this section and play it again. But right now, I'm going to wait. Okay, so hopefully you've got the G chord down, right? You've got 1 chord down, 1 down, 4 to go. Nope, 1 down, 3 to go, because we're only learning 4 today. So the next chord is really simple. The next chord is going to be the C, or the C add 9. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these top 2 fingers, these two, and we're going to move them down each 1 fret. So how you're going to get there right now is you're going to take this finger, your pointer finger, and you're going to move it down 1 fret, down 1 string, excuse me. You're going to move it down 1 string. And then you're going to take your middle finger and you're going to move that one down 1 string too. Now, in this case, when we strum this chord, we're only going to strum from the 5th string down. Now go back to the G, pick them both up and move them both up 1 string. Now move them down. And move them both back up. Now, for the next couple of minutes, I just want you to practice that. You can now let's get to talk about strumming for a minute. So when you're strumming, maybe you're using a pick, maybe you're using your hand. Either way, it doesn't matter. As you go along, you're going to want to practice with both. For right now, I'm using my hand. I don't have a pick available because they're out of camera shot. So right now, I'm going to use the top of my finger, the top of my pointer finger, and strum down with that. And I'm going to use the top of my thumb to strum back up with that. And I'm just going to hold them together as if I was holding a pick, and I'm going to strum down, up. So, we're going to do 4 counts. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to move our fingers over here to the next chord, which is the C, right? And then we're going to strum that 4 times too. And then we're going to move them back and do 4 more. Now, if it's easier, go ahead and just use your thumb. And if it's easier, just strum down. So in the beginning, we're not going to worry about the strumming hand so much. The strumming hand will come naturally as you go. It's kind of like throwing a ball. Once you've thrown a ball, you just kind of naturally get better at it. And that's what this will be. It's a really simple process, and if you kind of ignore what you're doing in the beginning, you'll learn. It's hard to explain, but trust me on this. So, strum. Okay, so you can play with that for a while. Once you've got that down, I want you to come back so we can learn the next two chords. I'll wait. Okay, great. So hopefully you've figured out these two chords. And let's move on to the next one. The next one is an E minor 7th. Now, again, we're not going to worry about the 7th. I might even worry about calling it a minor. But technically, this chord is called an E minor 7th, right? So it's like we don't always use the full proper names of what we're talking about. You don't call your mom Victoria. You call her mom, right? Because she's your mom. So in this case, let's talk about the E minor. Now, we're going to start from the G. What we're going to do is we're going to move the middle finger, we're going to pick it up and put it underneath the pointer finger. See what I did right there? Pick it up and put it underneath. So we're going to be on the 3rd string, the 2nd fret. And we're going to strum from the top. You hear how that sounds? Here's the G. Nice and bright. Here's the E minor. Kind of got that low feeling, right? Here's the G and the E minor. Now I want to practice doing that. And it's only moving that one finger. That one finger is the only one that moves. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. Now to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I want you to practice that for a minute. Go ahead and practice. Come back in a second. Okay, great. So hopefully you've been able to do this. And hopefully you can still do this. All right, that's 3 chords. And you see we didn't even move the bottom 2 fingers. Bottom 2 fingers don't move at all. It's only these 2 fingers, right? Again, your hand might be tired, it might be sore, and your fingertips are going to hurt. Trust me, if you keep doing this, your fingers will stop hurting, okay? So now we're going to learn the last chord. The last chord is a D suspended 4. This is a great chord. So this is how we get from G to D suspended 4. Your index finger is going to go all the way down to the 3rd string. Boom. See, it's here. It's going to go down to the 3rd string. And then this finger is just going to come up. And you're going to strum from the 4th string down. That's just the bottom 4 strings. So we're going to go G to D. Okay? So I want you to practice that for a while. And I want you to practice moving from different combinations. You see that these 2 bottom fingers don't ever have to move. So you only have to worry about these up here. So I want you to practice that for a little while. And once you've got those down, I want you to come back to the video because we're going to work on a song. Okay? So see you in a second. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to get that through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the first song. Your mom mentioned that you like the song High School Never Ends by Bowling for Soup. So we'll use the chorus for that. I don't know if you can hear the kitty in the background. She's crying. So here are the chords. The chords are in red. The lyrics are in black. So this is how I usually write out the music when I'm learning something new. But in this case, you can do it however you want. So this is the opening, the beginning of the song, and it's all the choruses. So the chorus is part of the song that repeats the same lyrics over and over again. So we're going to start strumming so you can hear the pattern. that I changed to a pick, because this particular song, and a lot of songs, are meant to be played with a pick. So this is a good song to practice playing with a pick. Picks are a little bit difficult, so here you do. Grab a hold of it, right, just so there's a little bit of a tip out, okay? See how that is? Great. So, in general, when you're strumming, as you strum down, you tilt the pick so it strums down across the strings. And when you come back up, you tilt and you come back up. Now, it's not that much all the time. In fact, you probably won't even notice it when you watch other guitar players playing. It's so subtle. It's something that you're going to have to practice on and learn. And now this is a really fast song, so you're going to want to take it slow. But the nice thing is once you learn those chords, and you learn to transition between one chord and the next, when you learn to move quickly from one chord to the next, you'll be able to play this song at the speed that you're used to hearing it. So, the opening goes... something like that, right? Okay, so hopefully you managed to get the transition between each one of those chords down. It's going to take some practice, but you will learn it, and it'll come a lot faster. Just give it a little bit of time every day. Move back and forth. So I want to show you how those chords are used in music. So in this case, we're going to learn the song, the chorus of the song, High School Never Ends. Your mom mentioned that it's a song that you like, and it's a good fast song. So it's a song that you're going to have to slow down to learn. You're not going to be playing it as fast as a song normally goes. And when you learn something, it's always going to be learn it very, very slowly, and then slowly bring it up to speed. As you get more and more comfortable and learn more and more, it will become easier and easier as you go along. So, the song, as you know, it sounds much like this. Right? Now again, this is just the opening and the chorus. The actual verses of the song use different chords, and we'll get into that later. But right now, let's see if we can't just focus on this one. So, we're going to talk about strumming technique. And in this case, I grabbed a pick because this particular song is easier to play with a pick. So this will give you an opportunity to practice with a pick. So you're going to hold on to the pick near the tip, right? So that's about where I hold my pick. You're going to hold yours the most comfortable way that you possibly can. Close up to the end. Don't hold it way back here like this. That's much harder to play. And you don't want to, of course, hold the very tip of it because then you won't be able to use it. So just a little bit on the end. You figure out what's best for you. Maybe ask your mom for a little bit of help to figure that out. Now, when you strum down, the pick is going to angle down like this. So see how nice and it goes down? And then when I come back up, I'm going to angle the pick back up a little bit and come up. Now, it's not really quite that much when I go back and forth. It's a little. So let's take a look here. So you can see how much I'm moving my hand, right? And that's the key. If you hold it straight like this, you're going to get caught on the strings, and it's going to be much harder to strum. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to practice. And you can practice strumming when your hand's tired. What you can do is you can just let your hand rest, and you can just practice strumming like this, right? Or you can just find one simple chord to do and practice along that lines. Or if you're bothering your mom, hold onto the strings to where you're muting them so they don't play, and listen to this. And that's called a scratch. And scratches are used in advanced guitar techniques. So if you want to jump ahead, you want to learn some really advanced guitar techniques, mute these strings and scratch and listen to the rhythm. So listen to the rhythm of what you're strumming. Hear that? So you can also do that with the pick. Now, in this particular case, we're only going to strum down. We're not going to worry about strumming up. We're not going to worry about all the different strumming techniques. Strumming is one of those things that you will learn as you go. We're not going to focus on it individually. Once you've learned this, I will show you what the strumming pattern is that I use. In other words, when I'm going down and when I'm coming up. But for right now, let's just do all down strums, okay? So it's not going to sound exactly like the music, but it's going to sound close. It'll sound something like this. Now see how I slowed it down, right? Now that's called a boom chuck. What I'm doing is I'm hitting the sixth string and then coming back and hitting the rest of the strings. Think of it as boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. And each chord that we go through, the top string of that chord of where we're strumming from is the boom. So if we're doing a boom chuck on a G, we hit boom chuck. But if we're doing it on the C, remember we move our two fingers down for the C, we move those down, and now we're going to hit the fifth string, and then come back to the G. And if we do the D, we're going to hit the open fourth string, right? So there's another advanced technique that if you want to, you can practice now, but you don't have to. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hear it? So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The secret is the pauses in between. Now, we musicians have some tricks that we use, and that is we keep a count, a tempo. And a tempo is a measurement of how quickly the song is going. And this is a lot of more advanced musical theory stuff that you don't really need to know right now. Just listen to it and hear the gaps in between. So, 1, 2, quick, 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 quick. 1, 2, pause, quick, 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 quick. Right? 1, 2, pause, quick, 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 quick. So let's just practice that for a while. Now, we have a great saying. Guitarists have been using this saying all the way back to when guitars were first invented. Well, maybe not, but let's just say for the sake of the argument they have. And that saying is, if you can say it, you can play it. So, when you're practicing, say what you're doing. Down, down, quick, quick, down, down. Down, down, quick, quick, down, down. Down, down, quick, quick, down, down. Now, if that's too fast for you still, we'll do it a little bit slower. Down, down, quick, quick, down, down. I don't know if that's actually slower or not, or if I just said the word slower. So when you do it like that, it's not going to sound much like the song. But it's a great way to practice to get you in the habit of doing it. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get. If you spend 30 minutes a day, just 30 minutes a day, that's the length of a cartoon, you will learn this in no time, I promise you. And once you start learning a little bit more and getting a little bit quicker, you'll probably want to practice more. So, that's the first line. The whole darn world is just as obsessed. So, now we're going to go to the next one. Now let's go over the second line. The second line is, with who's the best dressed and who's getting texts. I may have edited the lyrics a little bit. So we're going to do C, G, D, G. So we're going to go C, G, D, G. And I just want you to practice that for a minute, just with one strum each. Now don't worry if you can't do it at my speed yet. You want to go slow. Go as slow as you need to. One strum per chord. So we're starting off with the C, strum the C. Then we're going to go to the G, which is lifting the fingers up and moving up one string each, right? And then we're going to go to the D, so we're going to come all the way down here to these open ones. And then we're going to go back to G. So in the end, you should be able to do this. Now, once you've learned that and you can bring it up to speed because your hand knows what it's doing, then you can do it in the pattern of the song. So I'm just going to do the first 2 lines in the pattern of the song so you can hear it again. Now, the second 2 lines are exactly the same, they just have different lyrics, which is the great thing about music. These patterns repeat, so once you learn it once, you only have to learn that once. Once you learned it, you just got to do it again. That's the easy part. It's a great simple thing about music. So, let's go over the first again. And then the next part is... See, it's just 2 quick, fast ones. So really what you've got is you've got the G in the first one, and then there's a pause, and there's a pause for the length of those 2 quick strums, right? Wait, wait. See how that works? And if it's not making sense, it will.